serious. The President of the United States today threatened nuclear war.
North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen. He has been very threatening beyond a normal statement. And as I said, they will be met with fire, fury, and frankly, power, the likes of which this world has never seen before.
The president's comments came after the Washington Post reported this afternoon North Korea has successfully produced a miniaturized nuclear warhead that can fit inside its missiles. That was a technological development that analysts believe was years away. The news comes less than 2 weeks after North Korea tested a ballistic missile believed to be capable of reaching the mainland of the United States. But for 2 hours after that disturbing and important news broke today, the President of the United States had absolutely nothing to say about it. Instead, he was busy tweeting lies about the Washington Post, the New York Times, and his administration's lack of accomplishments. First, the president tweeted, emails show that the Amazon Washington Post and the failing New York Times were reluctant to cover the Clinton-Lynch secret meeting in Plain. That tweet was a complete lie from start to finish. The Washington Post and the New York Times eagerly covered that story, as we all recall, during the presidential campaign, after it was revealed by a local TV station in Arizona. 10 minutes after that first tweet, the president then tweeted, after 200 days, rarely has any administration achieved what we have achieved, not even close. Don't believe the fake news suppression polls. Donald Trump is, of course, the first president in memory to fail to pass the first major piece of legislation that he tried to pass, in his case, a repeal of the Affordable Care Act. None of the rest of the Trump legislative agenda has even made it to a vote in a committee in either the House or the Senate. And his response to that uniquely bad news for his uniquely incompetent and ineffective administration is to simply lie and to say that his administration has achieved more than most. A North Korean regime-style lie. That's Donald Trump's choice in terms of describing the accomplishments of his administration. And so the Trump administration enters its first deadly, serious, dangerous international crisis, this time with an unpredictable liar in North Korea, and for the first time in American history, the United States has an unpredictable liar who is in control of the nuclear codes that could instantly create fire and fury like the world has never seen. There is no indication that the White House or the president had any intention at all of making any comment about North Korea today. What the president did say was in response to a shouted question by a reporter, and that's when the president of the United States decided to threaten fire and fury like the world has never seen in North Korea. North Korea then responded, as of course it would, responded by announcing on its state media that it is, quote, carefully examining a plan to strike the U.S. Pacific territory of Guam with missiles, creating what North Korea called, quote, an enveloping fire around Guam. North Korea was clearly trying to mirror the language of the President of the United States. In another statement today, North Korea threatened physical action will be taken mercilessly with the mobilization of all its national strength. Those are the statements of a dangerous madman running a dictatorship in North Korea that in effect imprisons its population. This is the first time that the dangerous apocalyptic statements of the North Korean regime have been met by dangerous apocalyptic statements by the President of the United States. Senator John McCain had this reaction to President Trump's comments.
I take exception to the president's comments because you got to be sure that you can do what you say you're going to do. All it's going to do is bring us closer to some kind of serious confrontation.
Just 35% of Americans are confident in Donald Trump's ability to handle North Korea's nuclear program. According to a CBS News poll this week, 61% of Americans are uneasy about his ability to handle the North Korea crisis. North Korea has been a tension point for decades, but the American public always knew that their president wasn't going to be the one who did something stupid to make the situation much, much worse. 18 years ago, Tim Russert asked Donald Trump about exactly this situation after Donald Trump advocated a preemptive first strike against North Korea.
The former General of the Air Force, Merrill McPeak, the former Secretary of Defense, Les Aspin, said you could not launch a preemptive strike against North Korea because the nuclear fallout could be devastating to the Asian Peninsula. If the military told you, Mr. Trump, we can't do this.
You give me two names. You're giving me two names. I don't know. You want to do it in 5 years when they have warheads all over the place, every one of them pointing to New York City, to Washington, and every one of our... Is that when you want to do it, or do you want to do something now? You better do it now. And if they think you're serious, I deal with lots of people. If they think you're serious, they'll negotiate, and it'll never come.